It is March 4th, 2025, Tuesday. It's 9:30 a.m. We're here for the regular meeting and consent agenda. Would you please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, old business. Is there any changes to the consent agenda? None? Okay. Consideration of the minutes for February 17th through February 21st. Has everybody had time to review those?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the minutes for February 17th through February 21st, 2025.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. New business. We have no new business. There's no beer and wine license, no Shoshone County payables. That'll be Thursday. And there's no cancellations, homeowners cancellations. So we've got nothing to vote on. So we'll just move to public comment. Which one do you want to go first?
So I'm showing up to talk about code enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
I turned in a blight like a year and a half ago on our neighbors. Currently there is 8 vehicles and probably 6 RV campers that none of them are licensed. There are still giant piles of garbage and junk. We know that trash brings in rats, the fur-bearing kind and the people kind. It's a known meth fentanyl house. There's been U.S. Marshals over there. There's been at least 300 to 400 visits by the Shoshone County Sheriff's Office. They don't have running water. They don't have septic. There's people in and out.
Is there a home there?
There's a home there. And recently, within the last year, I'm getting surrounded. The people behind us, 40 feet out my door, I have 2 people living in a 25-foot camper. They've been in there for a year and a half, unbeknownst to me. I don't know. You know,
Are they on property or on right of way? Or
they're on property.
Okay.
But I don't know what our ordinances are. You know, where do we go from people just, you know, starting to live on campers and campers on people's properties? You know, no septic, going to the camper. You know, where are these people going to the bathroom?
Mm-hmm.
Who are these people? I've got my grandson out there playing. You know, and it's not really a city deal. It's become a very, very big problem in the county.
Mm-hmm.
At the bottom of Big Creek, there's a RV place down there. That place is chock full of just nastiness. There's cars parked on the right of way, and nobody enforces anything. So where do we stand with ordinances or county enforcement for these issues? Because I mean, I do my due diligence, keep my place clean, pay my taxes. When do I get to see a benefit from how I follow the law? That's what I want to know. What can the county do to enforce, you know, the ordinances that are on the book, or create new ordinances to alleviate some of this, because it's a countywide issue. Okay. I mean, there's people living up Burt in campers. There's people up Pine Creek living in campers, sheds. I mean, you go by it, Dave. I know. I mean, what do we do?
Well, one of the things we did this last year is we did hire a building inspector / code enforcer, and his first code enforcement job is the one between Smelterville and Pine Creek or Pinehurst, and he just started on that one. So I think we can make some headway with him because right now it was, you know, we have planning and zoning. You know, they have part of it, but the sheriff's office is part of it. So I think he's just getting his feet wet to figure out who's responsible for what. Because I know when we go out there, the first initial, there should be a deputy that goes out there, right? Is that,
As far as I understand it,
because you kinda had one over there by.
I took deputies when I went to that one,
Okay.
but I think we're severely lacking in enforceable code in this area.
Okay.
I've been on this little committee meeting here for the last 2 months working on how we can get rid of junk cars, and some of it our hands are tied by state law, and some of it we don't have specific enough ordinances. I think there's some gray area on who enforces blight complaints, and I think the whole thing needs reworked, in my opinion. It's not. It's a touchy area because you're telling people what they can or can't do on their property, and you're defining what they're doing as unacceptable, where what I'm doing on mine is fine, and it's a touchy area. But we don't have very good defining ordinances
Okay.
on this area.
And maybe we can bring in like Panhandle Health and see what their
Well,
job would
especially-
be on that.
Yeah, especially when it becomes a health and safety issue
Mhm.
for the neighborhood, for the
Mhm.
neighbors, and septic.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you find out where your blight status is? Like the progress, or, I mean, who
And that I don't know. Did you file it with?
I filed it here in the courthouse?
Okay.
And it was about 1.5 years ago, and then I never heard anything. I thought somebody would have reached
Mhm.
out and said, hey, we've made contact with the
Mhm.
person. This is the scenario. We're giving them such amount of time to clear this up.
Well,
You
Yeah,
didn't
go
hear
ahead.
from the sheriff's office?
No.
I think that's where, what my thinking was why we got the code enforcement / building inspector, so that they can keep track of that.
Mhm.
And that's what I kind of talked to him about. You just pass it off to the next. It's like a armchair quarterback. You pass it off to the next. You pass it off to the sheriff's office. It comes back. You pass it off to the prosecutor.
Mhm.
So I think just getting that. I'll talk to him some more. Just getting that down. Like I said, this is his first one, and I don't know how this is. I don't know how it works either right now, because when we came in, it's just been.
Mhm. Yeah, I didn't know that you could have so many vehicles or RVs on a property not being registered or insured. In fact, they're encroaching so far out into the right of way that the snowplow knocked over our street sign. It's been laying on my fence for 1.5 years.
Okay. Would you bring your blight? Would you?
I mean, I can fill out another blight.
If you would, why don't
Okay.
you do that, and then
Yeah,
we'll go from there.
from
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
But Mr. Chairman, this is an area we've talked a little bit about. There's too many loopholes, too much gray area, too little. It's too difficult to enforce. It costs the county in the end if the person with the mess doesn't want to clean it up.
Mm-hmm.
We're stuck trying to pay for it. That's thousands of dollars for the county. I think we really need to search the state and see who has the best blight model codes and maybe consider redoing that, because it's becoming one of the number one complaints in the county by taxpayers is, why should I take care of my stuff when everything next to me is a mess?
Exactly.
So I think what he's discussing here is somebody needs to put some extra time into it, and I'm willing to work on it. I just don't want to do it all by myself.
Okay. Well, we can probably work on it as a board.
Mhm.
We can come do workshops like we talked about earlier.
Yeah, and just kind of compile whatever information each of us comes up with and ideas.
Mhm. I think there is stuff on the books right now that so we'll look at that as well as maybe changing some things for the future. But I think right now we do have some ordinances that we can use at this point. I'll look into it,
Okay.
and I'll ask Dan as well. So
Okay.
okay.
Historically, years ago, we had an ordinance, I thought, that said if you had more than 4
4 vehicles.
vehicles,
Mhm.
that you needed a junkyard license, or you had
Yep.
to keep them all licensed and registered.
Mhm.
I don't know if we still even have that.
I think we do. I think that's why we have the junkyard. But yeah, that's good to look into. Okay.
You do have an ordinance. It's one car without a tag. You can't have any more than one car. You guys have stuff on the books to enforce this stuff, but it all falls into a black hole in this county. Keisha set up a plan 4 or 5 years ago on how to go through the blight process. Who was supposed to do what? Another black hole. The one coming out of Pinehurst, that was supposed to be going to court.
Mm-hmm.
It did.
Yeah, okay.
Mhm.
Well, that's the first I heard it ever did go to court. So I don't know what happened there, but there is stuff on the books that you guys, I mean, like I said, it's there for one vehicle without a tag. That's all you're allowed on your property.
You said Keisha set up a.
Yes, she did. The cops are supposed to go out. The complaint comes in. I don't want to quote it 100% because it's been 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. The complaint comes in, it's supposed to go to, I can't remember how it goes. It goes to somebody, they decide which department it goes to, then the cops, I believe, are supposed to go take pictures of it. I'll find it for you. But again, it's like I said, this has been at least 4 years ago, if not 5.
Okay.
And the policy is, nobody knows it anymore. That's a black hole that's county's in.
Mm-hmm.
My other comment is yesterday you guys never did say how much the dumpsters were gonna cost to build in open session.
Okay.
Do I get a number?
Yeah, they were. What were they yesterday?
The quote they got was right around $31,000 for one dumpster with a lid.
How many quotes are there?
They just got the one
That's,
to decide if they were going to go that route or if they were going to go to bid.
which we all know there's a lot of difference in quotes. Anyway, you guys just, it's up to you, you just put $160,000 in from interest from the grant money you could use for this if this is gonna save us money in the long run. Cause I think we got, so what do we got, 90,000 for 3 dumpsters roughly.
Mm-hmm.
We got 70,000, you get to take 20,000 out of your interest, which you can't use in your budget because it's not reoccurring, and you got your dumpsters. And if you guys remember, you had this conversation with the transfer station about how it might take more people,
Mm-hmm.
but you were gonna talk about splitting it with the roads department.
right.
And this.
I kind of brought that up to him yesterday as well.
So, I mean, there's money out there to do this. It's just what if you want to, if there's a savings in the long run, then bite the bullet now and
Mhm.
get the savings in the long run. That's all I got.
One of the things that I'm really, I don't think our taxpayers should be paying for dumpsters, because one of the things is that's out of town people coming up. Why should our taxpayers be paying for dumpsters for somebody else? And you know, I'm really looking at trying to push this onto the state of Idaho or the Forest Service. And I know we've been in contact with the Forest Service.
If you
It
remember
just-
right, I brought it up to Holly Hampton, I guess.
Yep, that's right.
And she was saying it's all budget.
Yep.
Mhm.
But on the other hand, from my understanding, most of the stuff in the dumpsters, a lot of it's household furniture
Yeah.
and stuff, so it's locals doing it.
Yep. That's the problem we have up at the
Right.
the dump
Mhm.
up by Murray.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Well, we have some work to do. So, any other further questions? No. Anything? You have anything, Commissioner
No.
House? No. Okay. Meeting adjourned.